What are some of the creepiest declassified documents released to the public? Story 1. The Dyatlov Pass documents, declassified long ago but heavily suppressed by the Kremlin during the Cold War. 9 experienced young hikers went on a multi-day trek in Siberia. None returned. Investigation showed they slashed the back of their tent, clearly fleeing something in a panic. Left uneaten food, barely dressed for Siberia's cold, no proper shoes, coats, or, for some, pants. Some bodies were oddly discolored, their hair turned gray. 2 were slightly radioactive, found in a ravine with minimal injuries. Some lacked tongues or eyes. No one knows why experienced hikers fled their tent. Theories range from aliens to yetis, avalanches to military threats. Recent investigations happened, but unclear if conclusive. Story 2. Cincinnati Radiation Experiments, a Cold War government-funded program exposing a mostly African-American community to 300 to 600 rads of radiation without consent. A quarter died within a week, 3/4 within a year. Publicized in the 90s when a prominent victim won a lawsuit forcing Cincinnati University Hospital to erect a memorial. They did, then demolished the building, turning it into a parking lot. The memorial was quietly moved to a hidden alcove behind the hospital, obscured by bushes and parking lot shadows. Story 3. Joseph McMoneagle claimed remote viewing, seeing through others' eyes anywhere, anytime. In 1984, the CIA tested him to debunk it, giving coordinates and a date. Issue: coordinates were on Mars, dated 1 million years ago. Shockingly, McMoneagle described an alien landscape, a decaying civilization, complex infrastructure, roads, aqueducts, canals, pyramids, and tall, shadowy figures in a near-apocalyptic state. The full CIA document is online for anyone to read. Story 4. Sweden's mandatory sterilization program, state-sanctioned from 1935 to 1979, often without consent or knowledge. Targets: those with health issues, mental illnesses, disabilities, or antisocial traits, criminals, drunks. Aimed at preventing unfit people from reproducing, driven by eugenics. Story 5. The CIA manufactured most LSD in Seattle and San Diego for hippie use, distributed by young CIA members with high-ranking parents. They also dosed a small French town with LSD for a week, driving residents mad. Visited by Albert Hofmann, LSD's creator, and prominent doctors. Story 6. Vault 7. WikiLeaks 2017 release detailing CIA electronic surveillance and cyber warfare. Key points: CIA can hack modern cars, disabling ABS brakes or fire suppression. Hack computers, planting files without a trace or framing another country. Imagine an honest politician finding a file with horrific images/videos on their PC, blackmailed to vote a certain way. Worst, this tech leaked, now loose in the world, nobody knows who has it or how many. Story 7. Project MKUltra, approved in 1953, scaled back in 1964, restricted in 1967, discontinued in 1973. Involved illegal experiments on unwitting U.S./Canadian citizens using LSD, other drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal/physical abuse, and torture to manipulate mental states. One case: LSD given to a Kentucky mental patient for 174 days. Also dosed CIA employees, military, doctors, agents, and public without consent, violating Nuremberg Code. Goal: induce confessions or reprogram subjects as robot agents. Operation Midnight Climax: CIA set up brothels in San Francisco, dosing men with LSD via sex workers, filming through one-way mirrors. Other experiments interrogated subjects under bright lights, extending LSD trips if they didn't confess. Many suffered long-term damage. Some didn't survive. Story 8. Operation Starfish Prime: more stupid than secretive. Scientist Dan Allen, after Russia's Sputnik, built a U.S. satellite to study atmospheric radiation, discovering the Van Allen belts. During the Cold War, the U.S. military, funding Allen, wanted to flex nuclear superiority. They detonated a hydrogen bomb in the atmosphere despite Allen's warnings of unknown effects. The blast caused a massive EMP, crippling the South Pacific. Radiation reaching the ground was minimal, but data is questionable. It ruined Allen's belts, halting his research. The government silenced his criticism, claiming he supported the experiment. Long-term cancer rate impacts remain unclear. Story 9. UFO-related documents. Nimitz encounter pre-2019 USS Nimitz off California spotted UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. Jets investigated radar anomalies, finding a large underwater object and a smaller one above, dancing around them for 10 minutes before vanishing. 30-minute documentary and raw footage exist. Bob Lazar, a 1980s physicist, claimed he reverse-engineered alien craft at Nevada's S-4 base, revealed in a 1989 TV interview, pseudonymized, and a recent JRE podcast. Mamagahodo, FBI 1940s Roswell crash, detailing a craft and 3 bodies, with brief but eerie entity descriptions. Story 10. CIA's 1960s, 70s heart attack gun. Initially a conspiracy, public pressure forced admission. A near-complete prototype fired a tiny projectile with a chemical-inducing heart attacks, leaving a near-invisible mark. Abandoned after partial admission. Terrifying. If they had this then, what do they have now with decades of funding? Story 11. Project 1794. U.S. Air Force and a Canadian aerospace company built a supersonic, saucer-like aircraft for psychological warfare and bombing during the Cold War. Scrapped as too costly and nearly impossible to fly at supersonic speeds. Story 12. Operation Paperclip. Beyond German World War II soldiers. Pardon Japanese Unit 731 of 100 researchers, biological weapons, Manchuria experiments, brought to the U.S. to work at Koch in Fort Detrick. Unlike Nazis, focused on rocketry/nuclear physics, these were integrated as professors or military doctors, experimenting on U.S. criminals in unethical projects too extreme for American doctors. Happened during Tuskegee. Classified details, likely worse. Story 13. Operation Sea Spray. U.S. Navy sprayed Serratia marcescens and Bacillus globigii on New York's base/coast to test maritime bioweapon feasibility. Could explain heightened mental instability among local homeless. Postpartum Japanese scientists' actions remain classified, likely revealed long after victims can sue, especially if sterilized. No country, U.S., USSR, China, exposed these scientists to avoid mutual criticism. Story 14. Germany's pre-World War I plan to attack the U.S. for a Caribbean empire. Original plan: sweep the weak U.S. Atlantic Fleet, blockade, and bombard coastal cities, demanding Caribbean territories like Cuba. After the Spanish-American War showed U.S. strength, the plan shifted. 40-plus warships, 60-plus troop transports, invade Boston, march to New York, harass coasts. Scrapped by the early 1900s due to U.S. naval upgrades, Britain's dreadnought program, and France-Russia alliances, leaving Germany vulnerable. Rediscovered in the 1970s. Story 15. Area 51, legally named in a workers' lawsuit against the U.S. government. Workers exposed to cancer-causing chemicals, chest/skin injuries, without warning. Government found guilty, ordered to compensate, provide safety gear, and disclose chemical exposure, but not specific chemicals. Story 16. Nikola Tesla's wireless free energy, anti-gravity propulsion, and possible time travel. Monitored lifelong by the government. Post. 1943 death. All notes/papers seized. Few declassified documents have heavy redactions, hiding key details for fear of enemy use. Imagine how advanced we'd be without war-driven secrecy.